What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another deck profile. Before I get started, first off, we have Monarchs today. We're doing Monarchs. Bit of a different thing, but you know what? It's Monarchs. They're fun. They're always going to be fun. You can build a budget version. You can build a non-budget version. They're very flexible, especially with Aether back to 3. But before I start with the deck profile, we've hit 60 subscribers. Thank you so much for getting me to 60. My next goal is 75, and then after 75 is 100, obviously. And another thing, I really want to get my live deck profile up to 300 views. We are just shy, about 10 or so views away. I really want to get it up there. So if you guys please could do these simple things for me, it would mean the whole world to me. And another thing, if you're new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy what you see. I try to get these out to you guys once every week. And yeah, eventually I'm going to run out of deck profiles to do, but there's one that I already need to update it was my first one I ever did, my Vision Heroes. I'm going to work on updating that deck list because Militias just went back down to 2, so because of Dark Hero Control or whatever it is, I have to change up my Vision Heroes, so expect that soon. There's also there's 2 decks I'm actually working on in the background now that are a secret, but anyways, let me not ramble on anymore. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy what you see, and if you and be sure to hit that like button if you enjoy the content, and if you enjoy the fact that I try to get these out once every week. Starting us off with the deck profile, though, we have 3 copies of Aether. Aether has the effect that whenever she is you can tribute summon her by tributing 1 tribute summon monster. Then she has the effect that whenever she's tribute summoned, you can send 2 Monarch Squire traps from your deck to the graveyard. And then special summon another Monarch from your deck. And then she has an effect in the hand during your opponent's main phase. You can banish a Monarch Squire trap from your graveyard to tribute summon her on your opponent's turn, which is pretty great. She used to be limited for a reason. And yeah. Next, we have, hang on, yep, I knew I grabbed one of the next ones. 3 copies of Idia, the Heavenly Squire. She has the effect that whenever she is normal or special summon, you can special summon a monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck in defense, or from your deck. In defense, yeah, it has to be in defense position. And then she has the effect that whenever she leaves the field, you can return a banished Monarch Squire trap back to your hand, which is really good. I'm going to try and fire through these because we're already 3.5 minutes in, and I'm just getting to the deck. Next up, we have 3 copies of Eidos, Underworld Squire. He has the effect that whenever he's normal or special summon, you can conduct an additional tribute summon, you can conduct a tribute summon in addition to your normal summon or set that turn. And then he has the effect that he can banish himself for the graveyard to special summon a monster with 1000 or 800 attack and 1000 defense from the graveyard and again, he just banishes himself to do that, so you know, he's not bad. He's really good, honestly. I like him. Next up, we have 3 copies of Mithra. This card can special summon itself from your hand, but the downside is giving your opponent a level 1 token with 800 attack and 1000 defense. But whenever this card is tributed for a tribute summon, you gain an additional tribute summon that turn. And specifically an additional tribute summon, you don't get an additional normal summon. So it's a bit weird, but you know, you get 2 tribute summons from this one card. I think that's pretty good. Next up, we have 3 copies of Thestalos. I'm going to be honest with you guys, with this deck list, I've used Thestalos at least 2, if not 3 times in a single turn on a good hand. On a bad hand, you just can't do anything, but you know what? This is 3 structure decks thrown together with a couple of extra cards. Anyways, Thestalos' effect is whenever he's tribute summoned, you can select 1 card from your opponent's hand, I think at random. Yeah, discard a random card from your opponent's hand, and then if it was a monster, you burn them for 100 times the level of the monster, which is really good. Next up, we have 2 copies of Erebus. Right? Yes. Oh no, Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Erebus has the effect that whenever he's normal summon, you can send 2 Monarch spell traps from your deck to the graveyard to spin a random card from your opponent's hand back into the deck, or a card from their field back into the deck. So it's basically a Nightmare Unicorn, but you double Foolish Burial of Goods just by tribute summoning it, which isn't bad. Next up, we have basically the same card, but different names and different defense values, and that's it. Vanity's Fiend and Majesty's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend is kind of the worst one here, but I only run each of them at 1 because I think running basically 2 of him is a bit bricky and a bit bad, because 1, you can search this card. You can always search this card in this deck with a certain card, but you can't search this because of the defense value not being 1,000. But they both have the same effect where you cannot special summon either of them, and then they have another effect that neither player can special summon. It's all basically right there. Wait, no, this guy says neither player can activate monster effects. Okay, Vanity's Fiend is neither player can special summon. This is neither player can activate monster effects. Whoops. I thought he said neither player can special summon, but you know what? That just proves you need to read your cards, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah. Anyways, sorry about that little mishap. Next up, for the last monster in the deck, we have 1 copy of Raisa, the Storm Monarch. He has the effect that whenever he's tribute summoned, you have to, this is not an optional effect, you spin a card on the field back to the top of its owner's deck. So let's say you summon Mithra and your opponent gets the token, then you tribute summon this card and you get rid of the token. There you go, you got him for free, and that's really it. I only run him at 1 because running him at more than 1 was just a brick, especially because if you can't properly tribute summon this guy, you're going to summon him and then he's going to spin himself back to the deck, so you're going to have a dead draw next turn. So that's why I run him at 1, because he's searchable. And yeah. Starting us off in the spells, we have 3 copies of Tenacity of the Monarchs. What Tenacity does is you reveal a monster with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense from your hand, to add a Monarch spell trap from your deck to your hand, which is really nice. It is the best search spell in my opinion, so minus like Rhoda, but the best non-limited search spell, ban list wise. Next up, we have the field spell that true Draco players know and love, Domain of the Monarchs. Yes, true Dracos. I know true Draco players don't always run this, at least not to my knowledge. If you do, leave a comment below. But it has the effect that whenever you can reveal a monster. While you control, or while you have no cards in your extra deck and you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster, Your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. I have not read the actual like text. I just know it's a floodgate where if you control a tribute summon a monster your opponent can't summon. You can also reveal a monarch in your a monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense in your hand or something like that. Yeah. And you can reduce its level by 2 until the end of the turn. And then whenever your tribute summon monster battle or attacks a monster your opponent controls, it gains 800 attack during the damage step only. Yeah, it's an amazing field spell. Next up, we have 3 copies of Return of the Monarchs. Whenever you tribute summon a monster, you can activate one of 2 effects, and it's a hard once per turn. You can either add a monster with 2400 attack and 1000 defense from your deck to your hand, or add a 2800 attack and 1000 defense monster from your deck to your hand. Self-explanatory, it's your search spell. It searches all of your monarchs, and it even searches Majesty's Fiend. Yes. Next up, I run 3 copies of March of the Monarchs. I really run this only because of the fact that your 2 main level 8 monsters, Aether and Erebus, mill, but this is not a bad card to have on the board because it says your tribute summon monsters are unaffected by your opponent's card effects or just unaffected. Tribute summon cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So this could be face up on the board. You can drop a dark hole and all of your tribute summon monsters are safe. Next up, for the one-ofs, we have 1 Pantheism. Obviously, because it's limited to 1, it is a trade-in, but you discard a Monarch spell or trap to draw 2, and then has a graveyard effect to banish itself and reveal 3 Monarch spells or traps, not with different names, so you can reveal 3 of the same name, and your opponent chooses one and you add it to your hand, so boom, yeah. And the banish effect, I believe, is the only hard once per turn on that. Yes. The draw 2 is not a hard once per turn, so if you recur that with Edia, you can use its trade-in effect more than once per turn. And for the last spell in the deck, we have the Monarch Storm 4th. I have yet to master this card, but it's still a really good card. It's still limited to 1. And it's basically you can tribute your opponent's monster for a tribute summon this turn. Is it monster or monsters? Yeah, one monster your opponent controls, even though you don't control it, and you can only activate it once per turn. Hard once, but you can tribute your opponent's monster. I'm pretty sure it's meant to be used with like Aether's hand effect where you can banish one to tribute summon her, so you can basically tribute tribute one of your opponent's monsters and one of yours, summon her, and then gain another monster off it. It's a +1, I think. Anyways, moving on to the traps, we have 3 copies of the Monarchs Erupt, side deck card for Draco players, I believe. It's basically skill drain, but you don't pay 1000 life points. It has a maintenance cost that you have to control a tribute summon monster, and during your end phase, if you don't, it self-destructs. But basically, while it's face up on the field, the only monsters that can that have effects are tribute summon monsters. And then we have, lastly, we have 2 copies of the Prime Monarch. You can, while it's in your spell and trap zone, you can shuffle 2 Monarch spell or traps from your graveyard back into your deck, and then I believe draw a card. Yes. And then if it's in your graveyard, you can banish another Monarch spell or trap to special summon this as a monster with 1000 attack and 2400 defense. And it's also level 6, so that's that, and it's a hard once per turn, so Don't be planning like, oh, I can use those for link climbing. I can use that for link summons. It's a hard once, boys. You can only summon it once. But it is a trap, so you can do it on either player's turn. And lastly, we have one copy of Escalation on the Monarchs. This also pairs really well with the Monarch Stormforth because upon resolution, you can tribute summon a monster. That's really all it does. Right. Yeah, once per turn during your opponent's main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can immediately after it resolves, tribute summon a monster. So basically you can tribute summon during your opponent's turn, which is really good. But I only run it at 1 because meh. But anyways, guys, I know this deck profile was a bit shorter, but you know, it's no extra deck Monarchs and it's structure deck Monarchs minus the Majesties and Vanities Fiend, and some rarity bumps on other cards. But anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. And remember, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're aiming for 75 subscribers and 100 by the end of 2020. Yes, that's right. I want to hit 100 subs by the end of 2020. And if we get there fast, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm definitely going to be trying to upgrade my equipment, and I'm definitely going to be trying to get better recording stuff rather than using my phone, which never likes to cooperate with me. And I'm probably going to get some editing software, and you can expect to see like gameplay videos and other things like that. So yeah, again, if you guys enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe if you're new. Anyways, guys, peace out.